Prices in the world of medicine have experienced a steady increase in the past few years. Everything from over-the-counter drugs like Tylenol and Advil to prescription medications like Daraprim have turned the world of medicine into a multi-billion-dollar industry. Companies fight ruthlessly to be the first ones to put out new and improved medicines, and as our lab fees compile, the wallets of the customers are emptied. In order to understand why pharmaceuticals are priced the way they are, we should get to know the process a little bit better. Take the pharmaceutical Daraprim, for example. Daraprim, also known as pyrimethamine, is engineered to destroy protozoa, which are single-celled eukaryotes that are parasitic in nature. Developed by Gertrude Ellion in 2011, Daraprim was made to be used alongside other medications like leucovorin and daciferine in order to treat toxoplasmosis, which is a parasitic disease that causes fever-like symptoms, and cystosis pariasis, which is an autoimmune disease caused by parasites that attack the intestinal tract. In the early stage of development, different compounds are tested against the target disease. In this case, the target are protozoa. The goal is to provide new ways to target medicinal products to specific sites within the body or to manipulate genetic material, says the FDA. After a compound that is deemed promising is identified, the testing phase begins. Prescription medications like Daraprim have longer testing periods since they are specialized drugs, unlike ibuprofen, which is readily available at any CVS. The first part of the testing phase begins with minor experiments on animals. After this, testing begins on humans. Test subjects are either healthy or have the target disease, so that the data collected from this testing can help investigators get a good gauge of the safety and dosage of the drugs. In other words, this testing phase is used to determine what is a healthy dose. Once this phase is complete, another series of tests are conducted to test the efficiency and side effects of the compounds. This is used to determine how effective certain doses are, and typically last 1 to 2 years. For example, it was found that Daraprim can cause gastrointestinal pains, allergic reactions, and bone marrow suppression, and that patients who take it who have a folate deficiency develop anemia. The final step in the testing phase is used to observe long-term effects. The test subjects are typically watched from 1 to 4 years. The research is then compiled and presented to an FDA panel, which decides to either approve or send the research back for further analysis. If the research is sent back, the company funding the research has to invest more money on top of what they already were paying, making the process more expensive than it already was, since the personnel, laboratory space occupied, materials, and test subjects must be paid. This contributes to the price of the drug once it hits the market, since the marketing team has to account for making sure that the sales break even with the amount of money that went into the process, as well as have a significant income. However, sometimes, like in the case of Daraprim, the founder took pricing to the next extreme and increased the price by about 5,000%, taking the price of one pill from $13 to $750 in 2015. The entrepreneur argues that the drug is worth that amount due to its versatility, since Daraprim can be used to treat patients of malaria on top of toxoplasmosis. He was arrested because he was using stolen money to pay for the debts accumulated from the development of Daraprim to pay back another pharmaceutical company that he had been working with. The same scenario translates into the hospital setting, where, as Elizabeth Rosenthal says in her article in the New York Times, as hospital prices soar, a stitch tops $500. The rising costs of drugs, medical equipment, and other services and fees from layers of middlemen play a significant role in the escalating hospital bill, of course. But just as important is that the mergers and consolidation have resulted in a couple of hospital chains dominating many parts of the country, allowing them to command high prices from insurers and employers. Sure, companies have to pay their bills, but it's at the expense of the consumers. As of late, the FDA has worked to create a list of price ranges for each type of medicine to keep the issue somewhat at bay. But since most of the medical developers are private companies, the federal government does not have as much power over them.